I am back again with another book haul because, well, I got a bunch of books and I need to put them on my shelves. I'm going to start from like the most recent stuff I got to the day after I filmed my last book haul. Let's just dive right into it because I have plans for some of these books. I picked up a very clean copy of Windhaven, the Timescape version, for real cheap. I know that these are hard to find, especially in really good shape like this, and I'm very happy. I have wanted to read this for a long time, and when I find a cool copy like this, it's really easy to justify adding it to my TBR. For anyone that doesn't know, this is a book that was co-written by George R.R. Martin and Lisa Tuttle, and I've heard really good things about it. It's like science fantasy, and I like how it says on the front, by the winners of the Hugo Nebula and John W. Campbell Awards. Just Voltroning those two authors together, it's like, yeah, they got a lot of awards stacked. Got a blurb on the back from Roger Zelazny. That's always a good selling point. Windhaven is a powerful flight of the imagination. I found it an entirely enjoyable reading experience. These next 4 books are what I plan on trying to read for Occult Detective October. And there's a pretty cool story behind them as well. So I picked up The Three Imposters, The White People, and The Terror. All of these were written by Arthur Machen, and the 4th one was Occult Territory, and Arthur Machen Gazetteer. Let's roll this back a little. So this collection of books is a lot of Arthur Machen's writing. It's got a bunch of stuff that is in the Penguin edition, and then a bunch more on top of that. There's an audiobook by Naxos that has like about a third of this collection in it, maybe a little more. Well, this is a 3-volume set, as far as I know. I don't know if there's another volume, but I don't think so. And it was published by Chaosium Inc. Now, Chaosium Inc. is the company behind Call of Cthulhu, the tabletop RPG. And they had a collection of books that they printed that were part of the Call of Cthulhu fiction, which included stuff from Lynn Carter, Robert W. Chambers, Robert E. Howard's Nameless Cults, Henry Kuttner's Book of Iode, just really cool stuff that adds a lot of flavor to your Call of Cthulhu game. So not only did I get some really cool late Victorian occult detective stories, they were published by a tabletop RPG company that I really like. So this is just icing on the cake. And this Occult Territory, Arthur Machen Gazetteer, all 4 of these books were sitting next to each other at Recycled Books, which is amazing. This is a collection of places that his characters visit or where the stories take place. You just flip to a random page and you get the Bedford Head, Maiden Lane, open as a public house, and it has a sketch of what it used to look like and a more recent photograph. It says the old Bedford Head left and the Bedford Head today, right, renamed the Maple Leaf. And then it has an excerpt from one of Arthur Machen's stories where it takes place. Machen had given a lecture, read a paper as a closer description of his activity, that occasion being a meeting of Willie Summers Gallery First-Nighters in the jovial atmosphere of the Bedford Head, Maiden Lane. The pub was founded in 1739 as the Duke's Head, later becoming the Bedford Head and being rebuilt in its present form in 1873. That thing by itself is going to be a ton of fun to look at. I was just meandering around the places I usually go when my wife and I go on a date, and I found 3 for Tomorrow, 3 original novellas of science fiction by Robert Silverberg, Roger Zelazny, and James Blish, with a foreword by Arthur C. Clarke. This is a pretty cool book club edition hardcover, and one of the things I like about it came with this little insert about the book and about other books you could get. I love this book club ephemera that I keep finding in these books. It's part of the highlight of getting them. The stories in here are How It Was When the Past Went Away by Roger Silverberg, The Eye of Rumiko by Roger Zelazny, and We All Die Naked by James Blish. All right, that sounds interesting. It is Short Story September, so maybe I will read these. I forgot about Short Story September until just now. I'm glad I accidentally read some stuff for Short Story September. Now I need to get back to actually reading the things I intended to read. I also picked up a copy of Lioness 1, Children's Garden by Jack Vance. I have heard very good things about this, and I'm glad I finally found a physical copy. I will get the rest as I stumble upon them. This is a book club edition in very good shape, and it has an old sticker from Half Price Books from 1999 inside the book. That's pretty cool. As far as I know, Lioness is a fantasy series by Jack Vance, and at this point I'm willing to give anything Jack Vance has written a try because I love the Dying Earth. Even the early Dying Earth stuff that a lot of people are like, oh, I don't like it, it's hard to read, blah blah blah. I had a good time with it, so I'm willing to take a chance on anything he's written. So this is going to sound wild, but I got some reading advice from Warren Murphy. Not directly, he passed away a while back, but he has a website where he has a bunch of writing advice. You can look up any of his books he's written, and he has like a 12-step program to publishing a novel. He's like, you're going to do it. It's interesting. Most of it is literally just take notes and put your butt in the chair and write. Part of that advice was books he recommended if you want to become a better writer. And one of them is Outstanding. And I picked up a hardcover copy. It's like a retired library book from somewhere in New York. And it's called Dare to Be a Great Writer, 329 Keys to Powerful Fiction by Leonard Bishop. This thing is amazing. Warren Murphy said in his blog post that it is the #1 book he recommends if you want to get serious about writing, and I can see why, especially pre internet, but even now this thing is fantastic. The 329 keys are just 329 different things that you can focus on to make your writing better. It says at the beginning this is not supposed to be read from cover to cover. You just look at the back and the table of contents and find the thing that you need, or you just open it to a random page and see what advice it gives you. Like, I just cracked it open. Each entry is about a page long. And on one side, you have pivot chapters. An average size novel, 230 to 340 pages, about 350 to 450 typewritten pages, which that doesn't matter now, should contain at least 5 pivot chapters. A pivot chapter is any group of scenes that contains a crisis strong enough to change the direction of the novel. The change can be expected or surprising. And then it gives the story, and then it gives an example of a pivot chapter. And if you go to another one, you've got double foreshadowing, completing impossible scenes, mixing tenses, like when to do that, when not, a character's decisions, secondary characters and plots, reduce a scene to a poetic form, just really interesting stuff. And this is like the book I needed. One of the problems is when I figure out something's wrong in my writing, I don't have the tools to fix it. I'm still learning. And with this, I can open this book to exactly what I need. It tells me what it is, how you do it, and it gives examples. And this is just so good. Dare to Be a Great Writer is an awesome book. I've already read a decent chunk of it, just kind of skimming it. I keep like a little light on it, and it's the thing that I read when I'm chilling and just waiting for my daughter to fall asleep so I can go to sleep. This next book has seen better days, but I was not going to say no to a Travis McGee book. This is A Tan and Sandy Silence and 2 Other Great Mysteries. Those 2 other great mysteries being The Long Lavender Look and Bright Orange for the Shroud. Now, this is like a mystery book club edition, and it is in rough shape. It's going to need a little TLC, but a dust jacket cover will really help bring this back. And this little sticker right here, I'm leaving this for 2 reasons. One, it's going to rip part of the dust jacket if I take it off. And 2, someone bought this book at a Goodwill in July of 1986 for 45 cents. How cool is that? It's awesome. I love when a book has like a history, and I'm not going to say no to more John D. MacDonald. That'd be ridiculous. A while back, I shared 2 William Hope Hodgson volumes from Nightshade Books that I was super hyped about. Well, I found the first one, so I think I only have 1 or 2 left now, which is great. This one is The Boats of Glen Carrig and Other Nautical Adventures, the collected fiction of William Hope Hodgson. This is so cool. I mean, House on the Borderland was so fun to read, and I'm just really looking forward to diving into more of his fiction. If there's any occult fiction in here or in the other ones, I will probably try to read some of that for Occult Detective October as well. I don't know. We'll see when I get to it. The thing about all these books is, like, as always, they're potential. They are things that I like seeing on my shelf and things that motivate me to want to read more. If your books are sitting on your shelf and they just make you feel bad, get rid of them. Keep the stuff that really kind of reaches out to you. And one of the reasons I picked that up is because I want a very cool collection of Appendix N works. Like, Appendix N, the fiction that inspired Dungeons and Dragons, is a really cool foundation for a collection of classic science fiction and fantasy. And it just gives me a framework that I can kind of move around in and hunt for things. And I really enjoy doing that when I'm searching for books. I've always got the little mental checklist tumbling through my head. And yes, William Hope Hodgson is on the D&D Basic Appendix N, but that's okay because that list is better. These next 2, I'm not sure if I'm going to keep because I found out that there are book club editions that are bind-ups of these, and I might have to get that. Got book 2 and book 4 of Tanith Lee's Secret Books of Paradise, or Paradis, or Dees, or whatever, however you say it. It's spelled wrong, so I don't know how to pronounce it. I have become a very big fan of Tanith Lee, and so I wasn't going to say no to more books from her. These are first edition, first printings, so it'll be kind of tough to find book 1 and book 3, but that's part of the hunt for books. Like I said, I'm not going to say no to some cool stuff like this. You ever notice when you glance at a book, certain words on like the back catch your eye? I glanced down as I was saying those things, and all I saw was erotic polymorphisms. What is that? So maybe these will be a lot more interesting than I expect, or a lot weirder. I don't know. I mean, if you've read any Tanith Lee's works, then you know that she gets a little weird on you. This next one I bought for sentimental reasons. I don't even remember how much it was. It's not in the best shape, but it is a former library book copy of Westmark. This looks exactly like the Westmark I read as a kid that made me fall in love with fantasy. So I was beyond hyped when I found a copy. Just looking at this makes me remember me as a child and how important this book was to my enjoyment of reading. And I'm so happy I have a copy that looks like that one. And I really hope my daughter will give this book a chance and will read this copy. I don't know if she will, because she's got an e-reader and she's been crushing it with an e-reader. So I'm not going to be like, oh, pick up a Dead Tree instead and read that so I can feel good about when I was a kid. I'll just give her a digital copy if she wants to read it on her e-reader. She just finished Charlotte's Web. That's a pretty big book for a kid her age. I'm super excited. And now she wanted to jump into the deep end. She's reading Redwall. How freaking cool is that? Now, you know I collect tabletop RPG stuff. Speaking of which, I got a crazy collection at an estate sale. It's incredible. Let me know in the comments if you want to see a book haul that is just vintage tabletop RPGs. I will make it happen. I wish I had more space and a little more money. I would have went overboard there. I got a couple of regrets. I'll talk about that in a video. If I make it, let me know if you want to see it. This next one I picked up on eBay because when you add something to your watch list and they knock a bunch of money off of the price, you can't say no. I got Monsternomicon Volume 1, Denizens of the Iron Kingdoms. This is a D20 rule book for D&D 3rd edition. This was during the big boom of the open gaming license, and this has a lot of really cool monsters that you don't see in normal 3rd edition games or 3.5 or even Pathfinder for that matter. And so I picked this up because not only does it have cool monsters with cool stats, it gives a background on them, it even gives behavior for the monsters. This thing was way ahead of its time, and I just love it. I love the artwork in it. I love the layout of all the pages, and I've always been interested in Iron Kingdom stuff, but I don't want the 5e crap. I'm not going to touch 5e. So I'm glad I found this, and I'm going to use this when I run a D&D 3rd edition or 3.5 or Pathfinder game, and I'm going to surprise people with monsters they've never heard of and they've never seen, because there's nothing better than ambushing a grognard with something new. They either lose it and are hyped beyond all belief or get real salty, and either way, I'm having a good time. I got a D&D 4th edition collection, a rather big one now, and I added something to it. Last time it was psionic power. This time it's open grave, secrets of the undead. Now, one of the problems with D&D 4e books is there's not a lot of flavor. There's a lot of mechanics in these books, but this one is just adventures, little baby adventures, something like encounters for rooms. It gives you the monsters. It gives you the tactics those monsters would use. Oh yeah, a lot like this thing, Monsternomicon, except instead of it being just a bestiary, we're getting a room, how the monsters are laid out, why they're there, stuff like that. This is super cool. Just lots of undead. I have always wanted to run a game that I basically called Holy Terror, where every character has to be a divine character of some kind. So a paladin, a cleric, other kinds of divine spellcasters, other kind of divine marshals. I don't care. But I wanted to run a campaign where I'm like, hey, you know how you're real overpowered against these things? Let's see how overpowered you are. I'm gonna throw you in the deep end. You're level 5. Can you take down a level 9 monster? Is just like some normie wandering in the halls that happens to be undead? You're about to find out. I also bought Monsternomicon because I have decided to also collect 3rd edition and 3.5 edition D&D stuff. It's the lowest on my list of priorities because I still got to get a few more hardcovers from Pathfinder 1st edition. I just picked up Bestiary 2. The only one that I have left that I need a copy of is Bestiary 5. And then I've got like 4 other hardcovers and I've got them all. This one was just a really good price. I couldn't say no. And Bestiary 2 has a lot of the really cool monsters. The other thing is I have all the tokens for these. I don't know if I'd use the tokens. I'd probably 3D print something and paint it because that's part of the fun. But you know, in a pinch, having a little cardboard token is great. I love the mechanics of tabletop RPGs. One of my favorite things is just digging through this crap and having a good time. I'm happy I picked that up, and I got 3 more books. Let's work our way through them. These are pretty interesting. One of them is an upgrade. Another one is a holy crap, I didn't know you existed. I got August Derleth, Chronicles of Solar Pawns. Now, Solar Pawns is August Derleth's pastiche of Sherlock Holmes. This one is from Mycroft and Warren Press, which I don't know for sure, but if I had to guess, because it was in Sauk City, Wisconsin, my guess is August Derleth was part of the publishing company or owned the publishing company. And so I'm pretty sure that it's like a play on Mycroft from Sherlock Holmes. Not to mention, like I said, it was published in Wisconsin, Arkham House, another press, Prairie Press or something like that also published August Derleth's like literary fiction. I have the audiobooks for these, but this is just a really cool copy. I think this is like the 4th one in the series. There's like 4 of them. August Derleth started writing Sherlock Holmes pastiche when he was a kid and then just never stopped, created Solar Ponds and just ran with it. And I want to see what it's about. I haven't read much from August Derleth, but that's not going to stop me from collecting his stuff and checking it out. I still need to read Dwellers in the Darkness, his short story collection that was published by Arkham House. That was a first edition. This one's a first edition. Just really cool stuff. Now, part of my process of picking up books is I need upgrades. If I've got a little crappy paperback, I want to upgrade it to a hardcover or just something really interesting like a cool trade paperback, something like that. Now, I have a copy of Starship Troopers, just a mass market paperback that was the one I read when I read it for the second time as an adult. I read it as a kid. It was a library book. But I picked up a naked hardcover from Science Fiction Masterworks, and it's so freaking cool. I love the Science Fiction Masterworks stuff, and just a really cool naked hardcover is definitely an upgrade to my ratty mass market paperback. Now, am I going to get rid of that mass market paperback? Maybe. It does hold some sentimental value. I'm always curious about how these UK editions get here. This last one is a book I read not too long ago, and that's Appaloosa by Robert B. Parker. I picked up a first edition first printing because I really like this book quite a bit. It is a quintessential modern Western, as in a Western written in a little more modern times, not a Western that takes place in modern times. I don't think that explanation makes a lot of sense. Anyways, this is a good Western by a crime writer. I'm just happy to have a first edition first printing. Part of the fun of collecting books is the hunt for cool books. And when you stumble upon a first edition first printing of a book you really enjoy and you didn't expect it, it's a great feeling. That's all I got. Let me know in the comments what your best book find is, or just a really good one. Let me know if you also enjoyed the thrill of the hunt. That's all I got. Thanks for watching. And with that, I'll see you next time.